So here we go. Today we're going to talk about the Salt Supply S2. This is the packaging it comes in. It's cheap and cheerful. It doesn't come with a case or anything like that. It's just a plain cardboard box with a Salt Supply sticker on it. It's packaged in some bubble wrap. It comes with a manual and then a small tool that helps you, I believe this is for getting around out of the launcher if there's one stuck up in there. I'll show you how that's done. So it's wrapped up like this. It does not come with a light. This is a very inexpensive light laser combo that came from Modern Combat Sports. I can't really give it my recommendation. It was just cheap and I had it lying around. It does put out, you know, a decent amount of light, but it's not nearly as bright as the kind of light you would put on a firearm. But in total darkness, it'll get the job done. It's a light laser combo. I have not adjusted the laser. The laser's not that bright, really. So this isn't necessarily a product that I am endorsing, but let's talk more about the product that I am interested in. Is this Salt Supply S2. So in my thumbnail I mentioned, is it the best value in less lethal? Because the price is actually pretty attractive and they're very available. You can go on Amazon or probably Modern Combat Sports as well, and get one of these. They cost $230. So that's not bad. Compared to some of the launchers that have come out lately, compared to some of the launchers that have come out lately or are coming out, you can spend a whole heck of a lot more money. But there are pros and cons to every launcher. Pros and cons. So let's talk about some of those now. One thing that I like that is a pro of this, well, it has a manual safety, so you can see when the launcher is ready to fire. You'll see orange or red right there. When you push it in, it's unsafe. So I kind of like the manual safety, and so it's a 68 caliber launcher. So it could be good used as a pepper ball launcher or something, and you'd have a good payload. You'd have a lot of powder in those rounds. This here is the magazine release, and the magazine is not in the handle. Only the CO2, a 12 gram CO2 non-threaded, goes in the handle. You have to put it on safe to eject the magazine, and the magazine's going to come out of the front like that. It's a 5-round magazine. Now I'll tell you what I like about this magazine. I wish it held 6, you know, but being under the barrel, I can understand why it doesn't. But I'll tell you what I like about this magazine compared to some of the other magazines that are out on the market for other launchers. Let's grab some practice ammo. So here's just a bag of cheap practice ammo. So here's the magazine. Now you load the rounds quite easily like this. And they're held in place by a lip right here. And to get them out, there's a little switch right above my finger right there. And when you pull down on that, the rounds are going to come out. It's under spring tension, so they're going to come out quickly. But that, to me, seems like a much better design, and it's much harder to get the rounds out of there. See how I'm being rough with it? I'm you know, whatever you want to do. Those rounds don't seem to want to come out until you press that switch. You press the switch, and there they go. So you've got to be kind of prepared for it. But this design seems good enough to me that you could put an extra magazine. By the way, it only comes with the one magazine, but you can buy another. It seems to me like you could put that in your pocket without worry of all the rounds flying out. Unlike something like a Byrna magazine that has this spring-loaded arm at the top. If I did that test where I'm banging it around, all those rounds are going to fly out. If you touch that spring-loaded arm, all your rounds are going to go everywhere. And it's not just Byrna. Here's a magazine from the X68 Pistel. Completely different magazine. This one holds 6, but it still has that spring-loaded arm on there. And it is sensitive. So if you've got this loaded up and you just bump that slightly, all your rounds are going to come out. So there's no way you can put that in your pocket without some sort of, I'm sure somebody makes like a magazine cover or protector or something like that. I know I've seen products like that for, I think Byrna makes some for their larger launchers. This is from the Byrna CL, expensive. So it's, I don't know why they took so long to come out with this new design, and then they went with the same flawed, I think this is a flawed design for a magazine. You should be able to knock it around. You should be able to smack it and put it in your pocket and just do whatever with it. And those rounds aren't going to come out until you make them come out. So that's one of the high points to me for this launcher. So I talked about the price. It is $230 for that and one magazine. No ammunition, no CO2, no nothing. It's just a cheap and cheerful price for a pretty good value. Now you're probably wondering how much power it puts out. So I did some testing with it already. Not with these lightweight practice rounds. They're probably a little too light to be used as a self-defense round. So I tested it with 2 different types of ammunition. I tried these Umarex T4E QAB 68 caliber. They say glass-breaking polymer balls. These are 3.59 grams. I didn't measure these. I just decided to trust the packaging on that, which is probably foolish. But that's the key. When I mention the joules and the feet per second and stuff, just keep that in mind. I'm just going off the packaging, 3.59 grams. And then I tested it also. I also tested it with some Grimberg joules. Now, on the back of the package, it says 8 grams, but I know enough to not trust that 8-gram specification on there. So I measured mine and they came out to 7.62 or something like that. I measured a small handful of them. They all came out exactly the same. 7.6 something. I think it was 7.62. So in my calculations, that'll be more accurate for the joules for the Grimberg ammunition. So I'm going to call this a roughly 20 joule launcher in 68 caliber, because when I tested the QABs, I got an average over 5 rounds of 18.8 joules. And then when I tested the Grimberg joules, which are considerably heavier, I got an average over 5 rounds of 20.5 joules. So that first round is going to be a little bit more powerful, but one thing I noticed about this launcher is that it's pretty consistent. There's not a massive drop from the first round to the 5th round. There is definitely a drop from the first to the second to the third to the fourth, 5th, but it's more consistent than some of the other launchers out there. So I did talk about price. What am I comparing it to? So $230 for a 20 joule 68 caliber launcher with good consistency. Now, on the lower end, so I'm going to compare it to 2 other launchers right now. On the lower end, you have something like this. This is the Umarex HDP 50 or TP 50, whatever you want to call it, Generation 2. So this is rated at 13 joules. You can modify these and get more power. You can modify them to the point where you'll get more power than even the 20 joule average of the Salt S2. And this is $150. But like I said, it's 50 caliber versus 68 caliber. So even though this launcher has pepper rounds available for it, here's a tube of pepper rounds. I didn't buy these. They came in the package. So for $150, and you might be able to get these cheaper. I know you might be able to get these cheaper because I know my original Umarex HDP 50 I got for under $100, but this is only rated at 7.5 joules. This one's rated at 13 joules. But it comes with rounds, it comes with a cleaning tool, it comes in a package that's maybe a little nicer than this, but not much. So that's the low end. And I'm comparing this launcher because it's a very popular one. These have been available for quite some time. This one has been available for over a year now, so I'm late to the party on the Assault S2. But they are, if you put them side by side, they are of similar size in profile. But since this one is 50 caliber and this one is 68 caliber, there is definitely a difference in width. This one is wider than this one, and it's overall, it is bigger. It's definitely bigger. The grip is bigger. The joules are different, obviously, and this one would make a better pepper ball launcher, I think, because in 50 caliber, those rounds are really quite small. They're not going to hold a lot of powder. So that's on the low end, $150. You might be able to get these cheaper by by the time you see this video. See, I bought this from, I think, Modern Combat Sports. Check around on Amazon. You can buy them on Amazon. When I checked on Amazon, it was $150 on there as well. So I don't know. The price could come down on these. Now let's go to the higher end. So what can you get for more than the $230 that would be somewhat comparable in size, at least in size, if not in power? You can get something like this, which is a Defense Innovation Pistell X68 Gen 2. Now these compare in size quite well, even though they're a different shape. The back end here sticks out a lot more than it does on this side. But if you put them side by side, like so, you'll notice that they're actually about the same length and about the same width as well. And the grips are big on both of these. On both of these launchers, even though this grip on the Pistell, it houses the CO2 canister, a 12-gram CO2 canister in there, plus a magazine. So I understand why this grip is so big, but this grip, maybe they just wanted it to match the rest of the bulk of the launcher, but it only holds the CO2, and it looks like there's a lot of wasted space in there. So I'd be interested in the future if there's ever a Salt Supply S3 or Salt Supply Mini or something like that at a maybe 50 caliber or something like that. I'd like to see how small they could get one of these and still produce some good consistent power. And more power too. I'd like to see more than 20 joules. But 20 joules is nothing to scoff at. So I've been shot by around 15 joules, maybe up to 20 joules, I'm not sure. And I jumped up and down in pain a little bit. So, 20 joules, and this is loud. This guy is quite loud. So 20 joules, a light in their face, and a nice loud bang, that has the potential to scare somebody off. Now, for almost twice the price, you can get this Pistell X68, which is about twice the power of that Salt S2. It's also 68 caliber, but it's quite expensive. These have been around for, I'm not sure, less than a year at this point. It comes with one magazine. It holds a 12-gram CO2. I put a more expensive light on there, a firearm quality stream light on there, because it made more sense. A more expensive, more powerful launcher. It made sense to me to put a firearm quality light on there. It's a Streamlight TLR-7X. They both take the same size batteries, these two lights, but one is significantly brighter, and this one does not have a laser. This one does, but that laser is not very bright. But these are quite comparable in size, at least, if not in power. And you have the ability to, with the Pistell, this barrel is removable, and I like to run it with the extended 11.5-inch barrel, which gets you over 50 joules. So you, in the less lethal world, it seems like the more power you want, the more money you have to pay. So this I think you can get for $450, something like that. But they advertise it as 35 to 50 joules, and then they advertise it with the 11.5 inch barrel. They advertise it as 50 plus joules, and that's no joke. They're not kidding. But they are quite comparable. If you were going to throw, if you were going to throw one of these in a backpack or something like that, they take up almost exactly the same amount of space. And one thing I noticed, so this operates with a puncture cap, just like the Umarex does, and just like the X68 does. So after you put your CO2 in there, you smack it, and that punctures the CO2, and then you're ready to go. And one thing, and it has the feature where once it's under pressure, you can turn this a quarter turn and degas the launcher. It's not like the Umarex where you have a button back here that you can degas or anything like that. Your only option, other than pulling the trigger a bunch of times when the launcher is empty, is to turn that cap a quarter turn. One thing I noticed is that they seem to have, the X68 and the S2, they seem to have the exact same cap. It says patent US blah blah blah, and it's got the same number on there. It looks identical. Really pretty much identical. So, and I believe these are all interchangeable with the Umarex caps. So this cap in the Gen 2 has the ability to turn counterclockwise and degas, as well as hit this button on the back to degas as well. So, let's see. They are also of similar weight, these two. They weigh, and I did weigh them off camera, and they're almost exactly the same. Let's try it again here. So without any ammunition in it, but the cap in, no CO2, and the light on there, we're getting 1 pound, 12.4 ounces. Now same situation here. We've got the magazine in, a puncture cap in, no CO2, no ammunition, and a light. £1 pound, 14 ounces, 14.4 ounces. So this is just a little bit heavier, which makes sense because this top portion on this launcher is aluminum. So that's metal. Most launchers are all plastic on the outside, and the S2 is no exception. Everything that you touch, minus the trigger and the safety and the puncture cap, it's all plastic or polymer or whatever you want to call it. It's not metal. So the sights on it are not bad. They are painted white, and then with the light on, you can get a little bit of, if you were in total darkness and the light on, I think you would have no problem picking up those sights. I would recommend a better quality light, but you know, that's just me. So you can get pepper or irritant rounds for 68 caliber quite readily. There's a company called Duke that makes some. Grimberg makes their own. I'm sure that there are more than that, but those are the ones that I know of right now. So one thing I wanted to mention, now I mentioned it comes with a manual, and the manual's not bad. It has, everything you need to know about the basic function and how to operate it and all that. But nowhere in here, in this manual, did I see anything about oiling. So what I did was I used, what I usually use is some marker oil. This is just the T4E branded marker oil. And what I did was I unscrewed the piercing cap, and I dropped 2 or 3 drops of oil down in there. I put a couple of drops of oil in the piercing cap, and I put a drop of oil on the CO2 cartridge before I dropped it in there, or even after I dropped it in there. So even though it doesn't mention anything about oiling, I don't know of any launcher out there that doesn't require oil. So my plan is to continue using this marker oil. If you know of some place that I should be oiling that I'm not, because I know there's a lot of people out there who have these already. They've been around for a long time. If there's, should I be dropping some oil down the barrel? I don't know, probably not. But I've been oiling it the same as I would the Umarex or just about any other launcher. And I put just 2 magazines through it so far, just with the one with the QABs, one with the Grimberg Jewels. Didn't have any leaks or anything like that, so the oil must be doing something. It must be working. So I talked about the average joules that I was getting. So my feet per second, so I already told you about the joules, which is what you really want to know. But the feet per second with these lightweight QABs was much higher. My fastest shot was 348 feet per second. And my fastest shot with the Grimberg Jewels, which are much heavier, was 246 feet per second. But that actually worked out to a slightly higher joule number because of the weight. So I don't know what these are the ammunition types that I have available to me. I don't know what the ideal weight would be, but it seems to be averaging around 20 no matter what I put in it so far. So that's the Salt Supply S2. I think it's a good value. I think it really could serve a purpose, as maybe you don't think 20 joules for kinetics is enough, but I think it would be a really good irritant ball launcher. If those are available to you in your state or country or anything like that, I don't know. But so far so good. I do like this thing. It has on the, you notice the grip, it has grip tape that's very grippy. So I was mentioning that this launcher comes with grip tape installed. It goes all the way around on both sides. Well, it doesn't cover the back, but there's some texture here. And this is not necessarily permanent. Grip tape wears, and over time, if you use yours a lot, that's definitely going to wear away, like up here toward your first finger that goes on there, or toward the front here is where it's going to start wearing first. And when that happens, I don't think I'm going to replace it. You can buy more of these specialized grip tape things here that you can get from Salt Supply. You can even, I heard one guy who just called, his was wearing, and he just called into Salt Supply and they sent him a couple for free. But when mine finally wears out, I'm just going to peel it off completely. There is a little bit of texture underneath there, so I don't think that's super critical. Some people don't like the look of it. I think it looks okay, but it would look just fine without it. So that's not critical to me. I'm just going to use it until it wears out and then get rid of it. But so that's my take on the Salt Supply S2. I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to say. I mentioned that you can run the Pistel X68 with a longer barrel. To my knowledge, this barrel is not removable, and so you can't add a longer barrel unless there's an aftermarket option where you would have to take the whole thing apart and replace that barrel with a longer barrel. I have not seen that. If that exists, let me know in the comments. And let me know in the comments what your preferred ammunition type or weight you think this launcher should be used with. For now, I'm going to use the QABs because the Grimbergs are too expensive to lose. So I'm going to save those for something that might be coming up in the future. But so far so good. I've only got 2 magazines through it, but it went bang every time. There were no leaks, and the quality seems pretty good. Now, I did mention it comes with a tool. So right up here, I don't know if you can see that, but in the top of the launcher, right above my finger, there's a hole. And so you use this tool that comes with the launcher, you put it in that hole and it will pop out the round that is stuck in there. Now, some people have said that you can actually load 6 by placing your rounds in your magazine and then inserting the magazine, and then one will be retained, and then you, just like a firearm, you could load one more in there, and then you would have 5 plus 1, so a total of 6. I haven't had good luck doing that with mine. I don't know if that's a flaw or if that's just a feature that was never supposed to be there in the first place, but mine doesn't want to do that. So this is a 5-round only device, to me. At least this one is. So, but overall, I think it's really a good value. It's loud. It's fun. It's a darn good launcher, if you ask me. I'm really curious to see what Salt Supply comes out with in the future, because this one has been out for over a year. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be a Salt Supply S3 or a Salt Supply Mini or something like that. If you know of any rumors of any new Salt Supply products coming out, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to see what they come up with next, especially since they're willing to make a product for a reasonable price. A good product for a reasonable price. So let me know if you think this is the best value in less lethal, because I kind of think it is. And that covers it. That's all I wanted to talk about for the Salt Supply S2. I like it. It's got a good weight to it. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. This is the first time I've ever asked on my channel for someone to subscribe. But don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.